Well, 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 look who it is. The old group of podcast listeners. Got a few, been a little bit busy this week, folks. I have a couple calls to action here. Check it out. I have a Facebook group. It's got about 100 people in it already. I'd like to encourage everyone who's interested at all in this podcast to go check it out. It's going to be at bobbydizzle.com. I'm going to pull it up right now. All you do is go there and right there, join our Facebook group. You click it, and it opens up a link to join, spoiler alert, the Facebook group. Just want to encourage everybody to join that because I share a lot of stuff just off the when I'm not doing a show, I share a lot of stuff. Here's the group itself. Bigfoot and Coffee, the official group of the Caffeinated Cryptid podcast. It's kind of a working title. I may switch it back up, Coffee and Bigfoot, but it won't let you change it for another 20 days, so we're just going to stick with that for now. Anyway, welcome back to the Caffeinated Cryptid podcast. I'm your host, of course, Bobby Dizzle. This is a caffeinated, lighthearted, fun-loving adventure through the world of Bigfoot, through cryptids, through UFOs, ghosts, paranormal societies. Our guest tonight is a medium and is an author, and of course, he fits right into what we talk about in here. And of course, some days, like I always say, I do throw in some science because I like to talk dinosaurs. That's my thing. I'm like a child. This show will air, or does air, Sunday nights on YouTube, Thursday nights on YouTube, unless a guest has a conflicting schedule, then I'll move it around. Doesn't matter. And I'm booked solid 4 months with killer guests. So subscribe right now and share. Don't miss a thing, please. This podcast is always available on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and a ton of other audio apps on your phone. You all have ways to get it on your phone. Check it out. Check all of that out on bobbydizzle.com. Click all ways to listen. Now let's get back to our guest, Mr. Alan Wright, all the way from the free state of Arizona. Alan, how is it going? You have written. Oh yeah, the free state. 2 hours behind. That time zone there is crazy.
Yeah, really.
You've written half a dozen books. You're a spiritual medium, healer, paranormal enthusiast, and the books are about your experience with the paranormal. I even saw some demons in there. I was like, oh, getting deep.
Yeah, well, I've written 9 books, and they're all about the experiences that I've had over my lifetime. I'm 74 years old, and so I've had a lot of them.
Are any of them? So they're all nonfiction.
Yeah, right.
I was looking through. I'm like, I don't think these. I said, I think they're all just like personal memoirs and whatnot.
Yeah, pretty much so. That's pretty much what they are. They're stories of what happened to me and my wife. Wife and I lived in a haunted house for 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, it was quite interesting. In the end, we pretty much blessed it, got rid of everything that was in it pretty much, and then we moved up to Utah, and that's where I started writing my books. My wife says, you know, Alan, you should write a book about your experiences and stuff about the paranormal. And by the time I was done, I had 9 books. So
it fills it up apparently. Like one little, I guess the 3 years at that house could probably fill up 10 books themselves if you stretched them out and went deep into it.
Yeah, well, if we went day by day, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite interesting in that house. There was a banshee in that house. I called her a banshee. She looked like a little old witch. She was in my dreams at night. She'd run up on me and just scream at the top of her lungs and wake me up out of a sound sleep. And she was something else. I had to get rid of her. That was for sure.
That's just annoying. Like, what did they think was going to happen? Waking people up like that. And that was all that was in there.
And then Noah came home from work one day, and there was hundreds of flies around our windows in the kitchen area and dining room. And from experience, usually bunches of flies like that around the windows is something's dead or evil. And I went through the house and I couldn't find anything dead, and nothing smelled like death, um, and so it had to be an evil entity. And so we had at the time we had 6 dogs, and I couldn't really spray them out of there. So I took a fly swatter and I just started batting the hell out of them, And I finally got them killed. I came home the next day and it was the same thing, hundreds of flies again. And I did this for a long time, it seemed like. But the funny thing of it is, by the way, we cast that thing out too.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing of it is, we had a big screen TV, and we would watch TV at night, and those flies it looked like flies was flying up from the floor through the TV screen, up through the light of the screen, and they were ghost flies. They were the spirits of the flies that we had killed. So,
wow.
Yeah, we turn on the lights and there's no flies. Turn off the lights when it was dark, and they'd fly up through the screen. You could see them. So, but that's interesting too.
That kind of indicates that flies have souls or something. That's kind of crazy.
Well, as you know, I am a medium, a psychic medium. I'm a healer. I'm a sensitive. I'm an empath. And I've been told that, I just kind of naturally knew this since I've had these abilities ever since I was born, that all living things on Earth has spirits. All living things. Insects, animals, trees, you name it. Germs, everything has spirits. And you can't really say that much about, I don't think, any other planet.
Not that we know about it. Not that we know about it anyways.
Really. And so it would only be logical if you killed like me killing those flies, they would have spirits. I don't know what took them so long to fly up into our TV screen, but that's something they have to live with, I guess. But
did you ever, when you experience the flies? Cause I'm just going off of what happens on like horror movies and stuff, when there's always something you have to work out to get rid of that kind of entity. Whatever was the outcome of it.
Like I said,
exercise the whole place.
Yeah. What we did was we went through and cleansed the house. We blessed it, cleansed it, and we got rid of. I forgot to tell you about the shadow figures, shadow people that we had. We go bed at night. I didn't see these at first, and that was unusual. That was my wife. Usually, though, back then I was working. I had to get up early in the morning, so the minute my head hit the pillow, I was asleep. My wife is the one that noticed them, and she told me. She says, "Alan, I see things moving around in the hallway there at night." I said, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah." So one night I just kind of concentrated on the hallway, and sure enough, there was about 3 or 4 shadow people in there, and they were bouncing around from across back and forth in the hallway, going from wall to wall in the hallway. And you can say what you want about shadow people. Some people say they're evil. Some people say they're from another realm or dimension. Whatever they were, they didn't bother me a bit. As far as just, they acted like they were watching us, just like we wanting to know what we do, type thing, like studying us. They never approached us. They never tried to harm us in any way, And when it came time to bless the house and cleanse it, we got rid of everything but the shadow people. that tells you you're going to have to
Really?
do a deep cleaning on those things because they did not leave, but everything else was gone.
The flies?
Yeah,
Flies left?
yeah, the flies
That would be
left.
my first. That'd be my first priority. I can handle
Yeah,
shadows at night, but oh my gosh, I'm not scared of bugs or anything, but I can't imagine 1,000 flies. That's like Curse of Egypt kind of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would end up with a big old pile of flies on the floor in the evening, and I had to sweep them up and put them in a dustpan. But it's, it's just unreal.
Well, what was the?
But
Was it like an Indian burial ground? I mean, you're in Arizona. I guess you may not have been then.
well, we moved back to my old neighborhood when I was a kid. Pretty much, it was in the vicinity of my old neighborhood, and so the house was at that time when we moved in it over 70 years old. Um, it went through quite a few people as far as fires and stuff. I remember as a kid there was a little old lady that lived in it. I'm pretty sure she died in the house. Um, and before we bought it, we learned after we moved in that there was homeless people that went in there, broke into the place, and they were in there using their drugs and stuff in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I found a pentagram underneath the flooring in the house too, and that kind of let me know that they were doing something more than just using drugs too.
That could have been like
So
a little portal. Could have had like a
yeah,
little portal happening there.
exactly, and that's maybe one reason why we couldn't get
Yeah.
rid of the shadow people. Maybe they did come from another dimension or realm or something. So I don't know, but um, anyway, that's so much for that. But,
Yeah, that's wild because that's for some reason the shadow people in my mind when I think about it freak me out more than other than like something getting thrown at me from across the room and seeing like a full body. The shadow people are probably like mentally the freakiest thing that happens.
yeah, you really don't
The corner of
know
your eye.
what their intentions are,
Mhm.
um, for sure, because well, for one thing, you don't see them every day,
No,
And
and they're
for
always in the
me, that
corner
was
of your eye, like
yeah,
this.
yeah. For me, that was the first time I ever saw them in my life, and I've seen all kinds of things, in my lifetime, but that's the first time. Um, the main reason why I started writing my books is because uh, I wanted to write about the experience I had when my grandfather died. My
Okay.
grandfather and I were um, very close. He was more of a father figure to me than my own father was. And he used to teach me. He's the one that taught me how to fish, and we used to do things together. I was there all the time. It seemed like.
Oh yeah.
And anyway, he died in 1982, and in 1983, I guess I was in my early 30s, something like that. Anyway, in 1983, he uh, I went to bed one night, and the minute my head hit the pillow, I was like, poof, I was in like another. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't a out of body experience. It wasn't a near death experience. But what I experienced was something that I had never had before. Um, the I what I saw was I was up in this room. Happened to be a hospital room, and I was up in the corner of the room, and I was looking down on a gurney that had a body on it, and I realized that this body was mine. And there was a doctor and a nurse standing over. And they were talking back and forth, I believe it was. And anyway, just as I saw that, I started moving through the roof or through the ceiling up through the roof of the hospital. And it was a little one-story hospital. And once I got outside above the hospital, there was lights to looked like a baseball field or a football field or something there, and I could see the lights, and then I could see the lights of the city, and I thought they were quite beautiful. And the city wasn't really that large, but anyway, I kept moving up, and I kept going faster and faster and faster, and I kept moving up. Anyway, and as I got higher and higher, I looked down and I could see the earth, and it was beautiful with the blue oceans and everything. It looked like a little blue marble or something down there. And I was thinking to myself, I thought, how beautiful the earth is up here, but how ugly it is down there with the wars and the rapes and the murders and everything that mankind is doing to each other and everything. And all of a sudden, this voice came to me, and it said, the earth is fulfilling the purpose for which it was created. And I thought, that's kind of a deep, deep sentence, just for a few words there. Number one, for one thing, it told me that the earth was created. By who, it didn't say, but it was created. And it was created for a purpose, and that purpose must be for us because we're down here. So anyway, then I got thinking about I was raised as a Baptist. I was raised in church pretty much as a kid, and started thinking about, where I was going. I must be dead, so am I going to heaven or hell? And I thought, well, I'm going up, so I must be going to heaven, hopefully, And about that time, that same voice came to me. It came right into my head, like they were standing right beside me. And it said, because of the things that you did in your lifetime, the choices you made, and overcoming stumbling blocks and those choices is the reason why you're at the place you're at today. And I kind of gave me second thought there. I had to contemplate on that a little bit, but I more was concentrating on where I was going, because I was still going up, and I was going faster and faster and faster. And I was in the solar system, basically. I could see the planets and everything. And the planets are really beautiful, basically, up there, but there's nothing like the Earth up there as far as beauty and the way it is. It's just almost like it's out of place. And anyway, as I was contemplating that, I started to think about my family, What was my family going to do with me gone and not being able to support them and stuff? What was going to happen to them? And the same voice came to me again, and it said, because of the things you had to do and the choices you made, your family has to do the same things, and they have to make the same choices you did. Which kind of gave me the impression that we're on our own down here, as far as, you can't ride off of your parents' shoulders or something, if you want to go to heaven. It's up to you. You have to make the choices and do the things, yourself. So anyway, I continued on, and by this time, I was pretty much amongst the stars. And I was thinking to myself, I didn't realize that stars are different colors. There's reds and blues and yellows, and they're all different colors up there, and I didn't know that. But I was going faster, and all of a sudden the stars became like streaks, and they were going so fast. It was just a streak, and I was really going at a terrific speed at this time. And all of a sudden it went dark. There was no light at all, no streaks, no nothing. And this time I really started getting fearful, because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what they had in store for me. But anyway, it was almost like a near-death experience because all of a sudden I saw a small pinhole of light up in front of me, and it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger as I approached it. And I was still going fast, tremendous rate of speed. Then all of a sudden, I went into the light and I started slowing down really fast. But the thing of it is the minute I hit that light, it went straight through me. Every nook and cranny of me, that light went straight through me. And it was happiness and peace and all the good feelings, tranquility and mercy and everything. It went right straight through me. And I kept slowing down, but I didn't care because I did not want to ever get away from that light. I did not want to leave that light. And as I continued on, all of a sudden I saw this being, and he was standing in front of this boulder. He was like leaning up against it, if I could remember right. And he had long hair. He had a beard. He was white complected. He was wearing a white robe, and he was wearing sandals. And he gave me the impression like he was Jesus Christ. And but at the same time, well, afterwards, I wondered if say he's a Hindu or somebody like that, who would they see? Would they see the same person or image, or would they see something else? I don't know. But the impression he gave me that he presented himself as Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. So anyway, but just before I had a lot of questions I wanted to ask him, but just before I got to him, I blacked out. At least at the time, I thought I blacked out, because when I woke up again, I was someplace else. But after a while, years later, I think actually my memory was erased. But anyway, when I woke up again, I was in this, I like to call it a meadow. It's like a field with high grass in it. It had like alfalfa or something in it. It had flowers. And I was laying down in this high grass. I could hear the insects in this grass. I could look up and see the sky. It was bright and blue. I could hear water off in the background, like a stream or a brook or something. And I finally decided I better stand up and see exactly where I was at. It seemed like I was Earth. I wasn't sure. Mm-hmm. So I stood up, and when I stood up, I realized I was in a circle of people. They had made a circle around me, and I was in the middle of it, in the center of it. And I felt like I knew those people from before, like they were my relatives that had passed before me, mm-hmm. or good friends. But the person I was projecting on or looking at was my grandfather. And he was standing directly in front of me. And he started telling me how much he loved me and stuff like that. And he started telling me some things. But he didn't have to use his mouth. He was doing it telepathically. And I started doing the same thing to him. I could talk to him telepathically also. I felt like I could use my voice if I wanted to, but it was a lot easier and faster to do it the way we were doing it there. Mm. But anyway, but then again, I didn't remember anything else until him and I was walking. There was a forest, by the way, on the other side of this field, meadow. And there was a path along this forest, a little footpath. And him and I was walking along that path. side by side, and he was telling me things. And all of a sudden, that was the end of it. And I woke up, and when I woke up exactly the time that I was supposed to get up in the morning to get ready for work. But I had this feeling like I had just stood before God. I felt like I was glowing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I carried this feeling with me for like 2 weeks after this encounter, after this experience. But over the years, I got little bits and pieces of information of what happened there in those periods that I was blacked out. And I couldn't understand why I was getting little bits and pieces after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can think of is they told me some really good, strange things. And I think if they told me at that time and gave it to me, you know, full bore, I don't know if I could have handled it. And they probably thought I couldn't either. But I found out a lot of things, and they gave it to me. It took years. In fact, I'm still receiving some of that stuff even now. But like they showed me where I'm saying they because
Mm-hmm.
I was among my relatives, and I was also
Did you recognize?
among.
Did you recognize all of them? Sorry,
I
or just
recognized
your
them as my ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't recognize them as far as like living with them or anything like that, but I did recognize them as my ancestors.
So, was
But a
your
lot of
grandfather? Was
them,
he like middle aged,
oh
or
yeah, no,
he was younger than you remember?
he was 74 when he passed. So, but you know, they have no time there. That's the number
Yeah.
one thing. They have no time there, and they can present themselves to you in any way they want to present themselves at any age. If he didn't like his age at 74, he present himself to you at 30 or something like that. You know, um, and they since there's no time there, they live forever. There's no death there. There's no sickness there. I was told that I was shown 9 levels. I call it heaven, but they're probably different dimensions. And each dimension, my grandfather was on the lowest dimension that I like to call paradise. In it, it was just like Earth. It's probably the one that I went to see him.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no death there, no sickness, and it's a beautiful place to be. You probably would want to commit suicide to be there.
Yeah.
But
There's actually a movie about that where
yeah.
they find heaven and everybody just starts offing themselves.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't think I've seen that.
Robert Redford's in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's called The Discovery. You should check it out. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, yeah, I will. Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
But each level is a higher level, and each level is better than the level before. But each level, you learn the laws and regulations and stuff of the universe. And as you learn these, you progress to another level until you reach the top level. Now, like I said, I was raised as a Baptist, and I was raised on the Bible and stuff like that. And there's a lot of things in the Bible that I could relate to in this journey that I took.
Mm-hmm.
But like the highest level of heaven that I saw 9 levels. There might be more, but not less. But I was told at the top level, you become like God. And what God does is create. You create things. You create universes and stuff like that. You might think, "Oh, come on, Alan, you're so stupid." Yeah. But stop and think about it. They have not found any end to the universe. No end to it. And so if there's no end to something, then it's logical that maybe that could be. You could find a spot there where you could become a creator. But anyway, that's here. By the way, I do not like organized religion. I do not belong to any organized religion or participate in their meetings or anything. But I love God. I love the Bible. I take it as God's word, and so and my faith became stronger after this little journey that I had.
I would
But
hope so.
anyway, yeah, really, it was unreal. But anyway, when I came back, like I said, there's no time there. So being there for what I thought was about 7, 8 hours while I was asleep, I wasn't asleep at all, probably. I could have been there a year, 5 years. I could have been
Oh
there
yeah,
20 years,
could have been
And
10
then they brought,
lifetimes for all you know.
yeah, and then they
You
brought
know,
me back to when I was supposed to get up in this lifetime. So anyway, that's one story I wanted to get out there. I had some more things that they told me. They showed me some things that was going to happen at the end of the world, at the end of days. They did not show me that or give me any information on that until after it was too late for any warnings or anything, like climate, uh, like climate change. They, they told me. They said it's too late. The scientists can do whatever they want. It's too late now. They're not going to do it. They're not going to be able to turn it back. It's in motion now. It's what you see is what you get, and all you can do is hold on to the rails and hang on for dear life for the ride. That's about it. Um, they, there was so much stuff they told me. It's in my books, things that they wrote me or told me. But um,
which book had
oh,
that particular experience in it that you
the my first book, Through the Veil and Back,
through
because
the
that's
veil?
actually what I did. I went through the veil and back. Um, but I wanted to also tell you that some of the people there are aliens. And now they're going to say, "Oh, Alan, you're crazy again." But we are actually made after their image. They're just like us. They look like us. They're us. I could see no difference in them. They're the ones that basically was showing me most of the stuff that they were showing me. In fact, they're around us now. Uh, uh, they're they're here now. Well, what they're doing is they're basically preparing us for what to come. I hope you guys don't think I'm crazy because
Oh
it's
no,
in my books. In my books.
this is a this is an open forum kind of show, and I love stuff like that. Did they give any indication that if we as a species achieve faster than light travel or anything like that, travel
What's that? I'm
interstellar?
sorry.
Did they give any indication that we as a species may achieve faster than light travel, interstellar things like greatness, like the other ETs do?
Oh yeah, but not in this lifetime. Not in this Earth's lifetime. But once we go through what's going to happen, by the way, there's life after death.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the thing of it is, whatever life we have is up to us. If you're like Hitler and going around, killing the Jews and everything else, chances are you're not going to be in even the lowest kingdom of heaven. You're going to be over on the other side of hell, which, by the way, has 5 levels. And but there again, you can work your way up to the top level of hell. But I don't think you can ever get over on the good side of heaven. They didn't tell me that, but there are 5 levels of hell. But good people you don't necessarily have to belong to a religion. I was told that the religions were made by mankind to basically just facilitate their needs, their own needs, the mankind's needs. Um, they weren't. Most of them don't even practice the laws of God. Um, the example that I use is in the book of James in the Bible. It says religion. I'm paraphrasing, but it says religion in its perfect form is feeding the hungry, clothing the poor, taking care of the needy, and things like that. And most of the churches nowadays don't even do that. We have mega churches that have many thousands of people and members in their churches, and most of them don't even do that. Where they have the money, they could do that. They could do some good with it. They don't. But if you take a look at their leaders, they're driving fancy cars, living in mansions. That's what I'm talking about.
It really makes you wonder.
You have to follow the example of Christ. He didn't live in a mansion. He could have brought down a mountain on top of somebody, but he didn't live in a mansion. He didn't do half the stuff that these churches do nowadays and claim that they're churches of God. But anyway, that's all I have to say. I'm not here to preach.
No, well, hey, it is Sunday. Today was our pancake breakfast at my church.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
So I've done been there and back. We had a couple of questions from the audience.
Okay.
That you'll enjoy. My friend Lionel, friend of the show,
Lionel.
he said,
"Hi, Lionel."
He writes for a small Bigfoot article. He wanted to know if you had any insight on the existence of Bigfoot and other cryptids.
Oh yeah, they're here for a purpose too, and they are here. There's big feet. Anybody that doesn't know that there's big feet running around are crazy. Yeah, they're
my
here.
favorite guest.
They're here for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't come down. Well, they might have come down in a spaceship, but they're here for a purpose. And I believe that they are here to do things that we as human beings can't do or won't do. That's the way I feel. I've never seen one myself, but I know they're there. I've seen videos of them. You'd have to be totally stupid not to think that they're not there. I mean, to think that they're not there.
We get really hung up on the not finding a body thing, and if they are something like an ET, then that's probably not going to happen ever.
Well, the way I'm thinking of it is if they're working with the ETs, and maybe the ETs are taking the body before we get to it or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I know there's too many people out there that's seen them. It's just like spirits. There's people out there that don't believe in ghosts. I don't like to call them ghosts, number one, but there are ghosts. There are spirits. Our bodies have a spirit. Where do they think that spirit goes after we're dead, And there's people out there like sensitives and empaths, myself. We can see spirits. We can talk to spirits. Spirits know that, and that's the reason why they come to us. I used to be on a program called Crossover Connections, and we used to do readings on that show. And I don't know how many people I like to think that we helped on this show just through their reading. I've had so many people. I had one lady call one time. She says, "Mr. Wright, do you think you could help me?" And I said, "Well, why? What's wrong?" And she said, "Well, I think I'm going crazy." And I said, "Why? Why do you think that?" And she said, "Well, my psychiatrist is giving me all this medication." And she says, when I take it, I feel like I'm dead on the inside or something. She said, I just don't feel like I'm living at all. I said, let me tell you something, ask you something. I said, do you see people that's not there? She said, yeah. I said, do you hear people or speak to people that's not there? And she said, yeah. I said, you're not crazy. I said, you've got abilities. You're probably an empath or a sensitive or a medium. I said, what you need to do is find somebody that's a medium or something to help you understand what you're going through and how to deal with it, you know?
Mhm.
And uh, she said, well, I don't know. She said, I, I've seen some pretty weird, strange things. I said, look, I said, in my lifetime, I've seen things that would send a normal people down the street with their arms in the air, flailing around, screaming and yelling, you know, uh, because we do see weird things and strange things, like the shadow people that I saw, and uh, those flies and stuff, you know,
The
and the
flies
banshee I
alone.
saw, yeah, and the banshee, you know, just those three items in that one house we lived in would be enough to scare a lot of people. But something that I learned to be able to deal with. I saw my first uh, apparition when I was about 5 years old. So
Huh?
I've had it almost my whole life.
When you were 5, what was that? Was it
It,
full body
uh,
or just?
oh, full bodied, yeah. She was I was only 5, like I said, and
Wow.
she appeared at the foot of my bed, and it scared me to death. And I kind of hid underneath the covers. I was kind of peeking out at her. That's the first one I ever saw. And she stood there for a couple of minutes, and she was staring out the window by my bed. And then all of a sudden, she just kind of disappeared, faded away. I don't know what she was looking at or why she even appeared, but she did. And I
Was
hope
that
I
was that in
answered
was that
that.
in your house?
Yeah, I was at my
Hmm.
house. Yeah,
Cool.
my parents' house actually. Uh, I tell people when they buy a house, be sure to go through it really well. It might be best if they don't like spirits or don't like to live in a haunted house. Maybe go through and cleanse it or get somebody to cleanse it for you. So it's that you're not surprised after you move in, you start hearing things going bump in the night and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
that's terrifying because from what I know, talking to guys like you, that any place could be haunted with
Yeah,
anything, and I'm like, what?
exactly.
That's insane. You
And
could
what?
have a haunted cabin in the woods. Just
Yeah,
I don't know.
a lot of times too, you move in and they don't do anything for a while. They're like assessing what
Hmm.
you are like, you know.
Hmm.
Then all of a sudden you start hearing a bump here or something moving around in a room or something, and then all of a sudden you start, that's what they did to us in this little house that we moved into. All of a sudden, shadow people, and the next thing I know, the whole house is full of stuff. So yeah,
Or if you start making like construction changes to an
yeah,
older house, they get
oh
pissed
yeah,
off.
remodel,
Hmm.
remodel, exactly. That's what happened to that house we lived in too, because the seller remodeled it before he sold it. Well, he had to. The homeless people lived in it, and they pretty much tore it up. So he had to remodel it. So that probably caused a lot of the disturbance in it also.
It's a wonder there
But
wasn't some kind of drug manufacturing condemning the whole thing. That happens a lot nowadays.
yeah, really, for sure. But
We had another comment here. Roger Squatch and Holler said that he felt the same light you felt through a dream in the euphoria.
oh yeah, yeah, that's pretty neat. I know. I bet it took you. I hope it took you like it did me. Like you didn't ever want to get out of that light, because that's what it did me. I never experienced anything like that before in my life. It was something, you know, if you do bad things, like I said, this light goes through you and it goes into every part of your body, every crevice, every corner. And if you have done something you're ashamed of, it's got to seek it out. It's got to find it. And you're going to be ashamed. God's not going to condemn you. You're going to condemn yourself. You're going to be afraid to, to say, hi, God, you, you're going to condemn yourself. And that light just goes right through you. Oh, by the way, that light was coming from that man that was laying up against the boulder that I was, that was there. So whatever he is, if that's Jesus Christ, whether it's a very intelligent alien that just puts on these entities, or whatever. I know he's a lot. I kind of tell it. I'll bend the knee for him anytime. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
I will.
He commands
Oh
authority.
yeah, yeah.
So
I bet
what's
he
your
could
opinion? Oh yeah, put the fear of God in you.
Yeah, put the fear of God into you real quick, like.
He said, "What's your opinion on why others have the experiences and abilities and others don't?" Like it's just wild that people like you, to people like me exist. I couldn't see a ghost if it was in the next room.
Well,
I may just be asleep, knowing me.
I think this started out a long, long time ago, back when first humans were probably created. Back in those days, we didn't have doctors and stuff like that, and I believe we were created. And like, I'm a healer. God created healers, people to heal people in their village or area that they were in. They couldn't run to a doctor or a hospital or anything like that. Mm-hmm. They had to go to the village healer, and that's what they did. And he's still doing it today. If I'm a healer, I know there's tons of healers, empaths out there and stuff, and that's what they do. So he hasn't done away with that. They've just created a doctor society now where we have to go to medical doctors.
And you have to take a pharmaceutical that screws you up.
Really?
I mean, I like technology that exists, but some things I think could be helped with preventative maintenance in other ways. And we're a good species because of medicine, but some stuff is like, come on, man, you're killing people faster than they can live.
Well, I give our animals, when they're sick, blessings, I call it, but healing sessions. I give my wife, lots of times she gets a headache or something, or she gets sick. I give her a blessing also, and it goes away. I know it works. I've seen it work. I give my little Chihuahua that's getting old here, I give her a blessing every night to relieve the pain in her joints and to help her sleep. And the minute I give her that blessing, she just falls to sleep. We got another little Chihuahua here about a year or so ago, and I gave her a blessing because I forget what it was. I don't know whether. Oh yeah, she had a coughing. That's what it was, coughing, like kennel cough or something. So I gave her a blessing, and in a minute I gave her that blessing, she collapsed in my arms. I thought I killed her. I told my wife, I said, "What's wrong with her? Is she okay?" She just absolutely collapsed. And after a while, she started stirring again. But yeah, I never had that happen before. But there again, some people are, you can heal, some people you can't. I don't know what the do is with that either. But
yeah, I mean, do you get like, I guess describe the healing. Do you get like called out like on assignment, for lack of a better term? Somebody contacts you. Like, what's the most like the success stories you've had that you can attest directly to that?
Uh, remember once, this was a long time ago, but I remember once I lived in North Phoenix, and it was desert. It was a rural area. And so the neighbors out there are quite close, we knew each other and everything. And I got a call from this one neighbor who said that her daughter was out partying Saturday night, Sunday night, something like that. And her boyfriend had a Jeep, and the roads out there were all windy and had dips in them and everything. And I guess he was speeding or something, or they had an argument and he was driving fast or something. Anyway, he left the roadway and the thing was flipping over and all kinds of good stuff. And she was thrown out of the vehicle. And anyway, she said that the girl was down in the hospital in intensive care. She said that that she wanted to know there was nothing more the doctors could do. They had her on life support. They told her, and she wanted to know if I could come down and give her a blessing. She said she knew that I did that kind of stuff, and I said, okay, I would. So I went down there. I took a friend with me too. He came to help me. And when I went into that area where she was at, she was in this chair that looked like a barber's chair, and the legs were spread apart, and she had tubes and wires hooked up to her that went all over her. And I had to work my way back to her head. That's the only place I could get to that I could touch her. And anyway, I placed my hand upon her head, and I started to give her a blessing. The only thing that came to me was I told her, I said, in the name of Jesus Christ, respond to treatment and therapy. It's the only thing I said to her. And that was it. And anyway, I went home, and the next day her mother called, and she was all crying and everything. She told my wife, she says, they're threatening to unplug my daughters from the machines and stuff that's keeping her alive. And I told my wife, I said, you tell her to go ahead and tell them to unplug her because she's not going to die. And so I guess I did, and she didn't die. In fact, the last time I heard she married her boyfriend, and they had like 4 kids, and they were living in California, last I heard. So there is a power to it. It's not my power. I don't know where the power comes from, other than God. But there is something behind that. And there's people out there that can do it. Why I can do it, I have no idea. I have no idea at all. But anyway.
That's interesting. I've got like a random, not like illness, but something that's wrong with me due to some a bout with sciatica I had last year. I was looking for I was looking for any kind of because half my foot's still numb, so I was trying to find somebody that could, I don't know, holistically, whatever you call it, maybe acupuncturist. My chiropractor's thinking about sending me to an acupuncturist to free up the muscle. I'm willing to do anything. I'm hunting for the crossroads. I'm hunting for the crossroads. Talk to the devil at this point.
Well, I do healings over the telephone or, through emails even. But in your case like that, it might be best if you just look for somebody in your area there that you could go see, or that could come to your house, and where they could more or less just touch it or, place their hand on it or something. Because that's where it's more effective. I have healed, and I can try it with you. Okay,
we'll give it a shot. I'm willing to do. I mean, it doesn't hurt or anything. It's just I think about it a lot. You know,
Yeah.
your half of your foot, or it's like half. It's like this is my little toe. It's like right here. It's just kind
Yeah.
of I think about it a lot, and it keeps me from going back to the gym and doing the crazy stuff I used to do because I'm scared I'll get hurt worse. It's one of those
You want
things.
me to do it right now?
Sure, yeah. Let's do it live. Do it live.
Okay, do it live. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, everybody. Uh, what's your name, Bob?
Bob Dahl
Last
slash
name? Bidol. That's right.
DOL.
I'm nervous.
Okay, you're good.
By Bob Doles, in the name of Jesus Christ, and by the power of the holy priesthood which I hold, I give you a blessing now, one which your Father in heaven would want you to receive at this time. Bob, I bless you that this problem that you're having with your foot, with the numbness in your foot and in your toes, I bless you that this numbness will go away and that you'll be able to feel the difference in it and be able to recover and return to normal. I bless you that this sciatica might get better and not hurt you again. I give you this blessing and I command your body to respond to it in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. I like it.
Okay. So let me know how it goes.
I will.
Sometimes I found out too, it sometimes takes 3 or 4 or more blessings even. But each one seems like gets a little bit better, a little bit better, a little more better, you know. But fortunately, it doesn't work on me. I can't heal myself, but other people I can heal.
That's like the crux of the ability. You can't do it to yourself.
Yeah,
Take a piece
heal
of you.
thyself.
Roger said,
Really.
now I can play soccer.
Yeah, bro.
Now, for your information, it's jujitsu that I couldn't do, Roger. I kept getting slammed on the ground. Mr. Kassan is live from, I think, Sri Lanka. He said you're a distance healer. Yes, he is. He's a healer.
Yes, I am. I am a distance healer. In fact, I've had healings in the UK, Canada. I believe I have had one in Australia too. But yeah, I know it works. I've seen it work. But anyway, I had the same problem that you had.
Mm-hmm.
I was got up one morning and was going to the bathroom. All of a sudden, I just went down on the floor.
Yeah,
my whole right
rough.
side gave out, and I was almost like a year before I could actually call myself halfway normal again. I still have numbness in both feet and in my hands, but compared to what it was, it's a lot better. But I figure if God wants to take me now, He will. But
I'll tell you what's weird about that is, you know, some of the spots that's numb, like
Yeah.
you'll feel like this almost like somebody's beating it with a stick sometimes.
Oh yeah,
It'll just go.
yeah.
I'm like, what is that? It'll start hurting, and I'll feel the tingling come back, but it'll stop. It's weird. But I've been doing yoga, stretching it out.
Sometimes I have a shot of pain, like somebody stuck a needle in my hand. And I go, what's that? I can't even feel anything in my hand. Then all of a sudden I get a shot of pain in it. What's that?
It's coming back, healing. I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to do. I don't run and I don't do the martial arts anymore, but I do a lot of walking.
Yeah.
And I really don't like it because I'm as active as I'm not inactive. You know, I'm not a slug. So I don't like being where I gained weight because of it.
Yeah. Actually, really. Well, I'm 74, like I said, and I all my exercise days are over with. I do work around the house on the outside and stuff. I just got through building a large deck on the front of our house, and I do things like that. But I stay pretty close to the house. I don't want to get out in the desert someplace and not be able to make it home.
End up in a swarm of buzzards.
Yeah, or whatever. But
I appreciate you coming on. This has been really incredible. Like I stayed out too late last night and I was tired. I'm like, man, I hope I can make it through. And then you started on your dream story. I'm like, yep, this is going to be a good one. This is.
well, I hope so. And they told me a lot of other things on this dream. I told you I went on another experience where I went to hell, and I was told some experiences there. And in that experience, I had 3 or 4 shadow people bouncing around behind me while I was on this trail, and I didn't know what they were going to do, and I was really fearful there. And it was dark there, very dark. I couldn't hardly see the hand in front of my face. And I know I was on the path, and it was fairly large. It must have been 8-10 foot across this path. And I could see shadows of buildings on either side of this path and windows, but there was no light in them. And I couldn't figure out, and the way heaven was, or a way that the good feelings were with the charity and all this stuff, the good feelings on the one I went on before, this one was just the opposite. There was hatred and fear and all the bad ones in this one, and it was really down, and it was just a really a bad thing. And I kept walking along this path wondering what it was in store for me. And all of a sudden I saw this spirit. He came around this corner of this building, and he motioned for me to come over to him. I walked over to the edge of this the trail, the path there, and I stopped and I said, "What do you want?" And he motioned for me to come closer, and I said, "No, what do you want? I'm not coming any closer." And he says, and what he wanted, and of course the conversation, to make it short, he wanted me to help him, either make it where it's not so bad for him down there, or help him out of that place. And I told him, I said, "I don't have any power down there." I said, I can't help you out of there. I said, "You got yourself down here, and now you're going to have to get yourself out." I said, "I have nothing to do with this place at all." And next thing I know, I was back in my bed just like before, except the good feeling that I had, like I was shining and everything. This feeling was completely different. I felt like I just came out of hell, and that feeling lasted for over a week, probably a couple of weeks. And I was quick to temper. I was bit my wife's head off at the least little thing. I was in a bad mood most of the time, and it took a while for it to leave. I had to purge myself several times, and but yeah, it's bad. You don't want to go to hell if you don't have to.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try not to.
Yeah.
What's going to send me to hell is I can't get up early on Sundays half the time. I don't know if that counts. If I try to be a good person, but I sleep in on Sundays, I don't know if that's the.
Well, I had dealings with that spirit before when he was alive, and when he had his own body and everything. His wife used to call me up. Huh?
You met him like in real life?
Yeah. Yeah, his wife used to call me up, have me come over and give her blessings for she used to have headaches like migraines and stuff like that. And I used to go over and give her blessings for that. And he would greet me at the door. It wasn't a greet. He'd open the door and wouldn't say nothing and let me in. And he acted like he didn't want anything to do with me. He acted like I was some kind of fly-by-night or a fake or something too, but if I was, why wasn't his wife kept calling me for, give her blessings? So, but anyway, he was the guy. Come to find out, also, he had murdered somebody, and the reason why he wanted to get out of there, he was fearful because the guy he had murdered, he felt was down there also, and he was afraid that guy was going to get him. So that's the reason why you wanted me to get him out of there.
Scandalous. You
Yeah,
know, you don't
really.
think about that. Like, you don't think about it like that. And subsequently, we have had a request for a ton of blessings.
Oh,
all of a
wow.
sudden,
Well,
all of a sudden, it's Benny Hinn up in here.
well, um, tell you what, my email address is paperback-writer35 at yahoo.com. That's
I'm gonna put it in the chat, guys.
paperback-writer35 at yahoo.com. And just tell me what is bothering you, and I'll give you a blessing right there. I'll put it in writing and send you the blessing back so you can read it.
Is that right there on your screen? The address, if you can see it. I don't know if you're on your phone or not.
Yeah, I'm on my phone. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of time it doesn't look as clear on the phone as it does a laptop. It's just like, what is that?
One weird experience I had, I was on the radio show. I was on that one podcast, Crossover Connections, and a lady had a horse. She said the horse was fearful and some people was scaring it and everything. And she wanted to know if I could help it. I said, well, I don't know. I gave the horse a reading. I never gave an animal a reading before. I gave that horse a reading. I couldn't believe it. The horse was scared of the people that was out back because those people were trying to throw things at it and stuff when she wasn't around. And I told her that that's what was going on, and I couldn't believe everybody else was surprised too. But I couldn't believe I gave that horse a read. Anyway,
You know, I kind of guessed on another show, and they had an animal psychic on there too. So it sounds, and she would do things like that. Dogs would be freaking out. The dogs would tell them they were bored and we just need something else to do. The main host of the show, his name's Glenn. It's funny because the way she said it and who it was. She's like, "Your dog needs marijuana." I'm like, "Whoa, what?" I'm over here not listening. I turned my head. What? Excuse me. She was anxious and needed gummies. I thought that was funny. Yeah, Kassan's gonna email you. He's having some issues there.
Okay. Anybody that wants a healing, just send me what's bothering you, what you would like me to try to heal, and I'll do it by email. You'll have it there. Lots of times I tell somebody when I do it that way, either by text or email, to read it each day or something, the blessing, the way that I have it worded. That way, it's almost like me giving you the blessing again. And I've had people tell me that has helped also.
Kind of reminds me of like saying the rosary, how it has power if you just keep doing it.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I'm a strong believer in the rosary. I don't know why it works, but it does.
Well, it's every crazy. Church, every religion has some truth in it, but it doesn't have all the truth. You'd have to be a member of all the churches in order to get everything in there,
You have to be a spiritualist.
Yeah, really. But I just don't believe in them. I just don't go to them, and
I get slightly more skeptical as I get older.
I've been places where a lot of people have not been, and I've seen things that people have not seen, and I've been told things too. So I don't know when this world's coming to an end. I just been told that it's close. I did predict the COVID-19. I did say it was coming pretty soon, and it did about a month later. I also said that after COVID, there was another one coming around the corner, and I just read the other day that they're issuing a warning now for this. What is it? Bird, some kind of bird disease.
Oh
And
yeah, I heard about
think
that. The bird flu.
yeah, it's going to go worldwide here. They're afraid it might turn into something bad too. And I'm not sure, but maybe this is the one that I was told about also. I was also told to tell people to save up on their canned foods, to save up on their paper products and stuff like that, because there was going to be a shortage of them. And by George, there was. And I was also told there's going to be shortages of these things on and off all along. And you can't really go to a grocery store now without seeing shortages of or empty shelves of certain things.
Something random. Always something random.
Yeah, really.
It's like they're out of like spicy cheese.
Yeah. What's the deal with that? You used to be able to go shop and not have to worry about things like that, but now you do it. But also, I was told there's going to be earthquakes, not so much like before, but worse, bigger earthquakes. Also, was told there was going to be bigger storms, bigger tornadoes and hurricanes, and things coming up, and they're happening right now. I was also told that as we get closer to the end, that there's going to be strange things happening as far as I think we're going to be seeing things falling out of the skies. The impression I got. They could be meteors. I don't know, but we're going to be seeing that too.
I can relate a lot to that UAP phenomenon they got going.
Yeah, could be.
But anyway, definitely spells it out.
But whatever happens, even if you're killed, you're going to still go on. And it's an instant thing. The minute your spirit leaves the body, you move on. And I could tell you this because it happened to me. There's not even an interruption. I mean, that last breath, you're out, you're gone, and you're on your way to other things. And
it's encouraging.
It's not like you're going to go into darkness. It's not like all of a sudden you're going to be at the end. That's the end of you. You will go on. You know, it says in the Bible that life is eternal. If life is eternal, then it's everlasting. There's no beginning and no end. So where did we come from? There was a pre-existence. We came from someplace. We didn't begin on this earth. We began someplace else in the pre-existence. So I wanted to share that with you too.
Soul contracts and the like.
Yeah.
But anyway, I have to believe it has to do something like that. Some kind of minutia.
Well, yeah. When I saw my ancestors and stuff, have you heard of somebody being an old soul?
Oh yeah, I get called that sometimes.
Yeah, I'm an old soul. My wife's an old soul. The reason for that is our spirits are old. They're probably really old. And the reason being is we have helped our ancestors prepare to come to this earth before they came to the earth. We were in the pre-existence helping them to prepare to come to earth. And then all of a sudden it became our turn after we helped them. But this is, a long time waiting. Then we come to earth. An old soul, they're people who they like animals. They like the creations of the earth, like trees and stuff like that. They do not like people damaging the earth. They do not like people doing things to the earth that's going to cause it damage, like throwing their garbage in the oceans and polluting the world and oil fields and stuff like that polluting. And uh, these people care about the world and they try to take care of it. And they probably belong to like animal shelters, and stuff like that, because they have respect for life. And that's what Osals are. And I love animals. Lori does too, and my wife. We have, like I said, 3 chihuahuas now. And but we care about life. We take care of life. And you probably do too.
Oh yeah,
Being an old soul.
people say I'm an old soul because I like stuff that happened like 100 years ago instead of now. A
Well,
lot of times,
that
something
too.
like that.
That too. You like
But
history.
I'm definitely in history. That's why I started the show.
Yeah. Yeah, you like
There's a
history?
history is my minor in college. I loved it. I've had historians on here. I could sit and listen to it all the time. And I've
Yeah.
always had like a sneaking like ache about the fact that the supernatural was real, even when I was little. And
Oh yeah.
people would
Yeah.
say there's no such thing, and it would it would make me mad, but I would get like that's no fun. What do you mean no such thing? I would just in my mind I was thinking that's no fun. It's no fun. Like I
Maybe,
always knew something was there, but I've never seen it, but I know it's there.
maybe you're preparing your ancestors to come to this earth. You learned a little bit of it about it too, and you haven't forgotten very much of it, or you still remember some of that
Yeah, and I'll tell you,
subconsciously.
I wouldn't say hobby growing up was I grew up way out in the sticks, North Alabama, and there was a little store, and I hung out there for 4 hours a day talking to people 80 years older than me,
Yeah.
sometimes for hours, and that was my favorite thing to do. Like I always tell people, like I was born in 1983, but I feel like from my experiences growing up that I'm from the 30s. Like I can
You
talk
know,
about stuff like pop culture now, and I can talk about World War II like I was there. Like it's
yeah,
crazy. It's
yeah,
weird.
it's
All the stories
great.
I've heard. I was doing podcasts before they were podcast around, just talking to people, eating a sausage biscuit, hearing about smoking Nazis. You know,
Yeah.
I knew a guy that got poisoned from the Hiroshima bomb.
Oh wow.
That kind of thing. It was crazy. Just like you're supposed to know that. I'm just a little kid. And I'm over here Tom Brokaw. What am I doing in my life?
Yeah, really. You know,
Well,
you can like with me, I can sit on a bench in Walmart and have. By the time my wife comes around to get me to leave, I'll have people sitting there talking to me.
you make friends.
that's part. Yeah, that's part of being an old soul too. I guess people are kind of attracted to you for some reason. I don't know, but I've had
I'll
them.
turn that on and off depending on my mood. But I
Yeah,
can do it if I'm
yeah,
in any kind of mood. If I'm hassled, I'll just be like
yeah.
looking at my phone. Looking at my phone. But if I'm in the mood to do it, it's going to happen. Like I'll hold court. Get invited to
Well,
somebody's wedding.
I'm also a medium too, So
Mm-hmm.
um, we were doing laundry one day at a laundromat, and this woman walked by, and all of a sudden, her mother approached me in spirit and told me that she wanted to give a message to her daughter. So I stopped her and I said, "Excuse me, ma'am." I said, "Has your mother passed?" She said, "Well, yeah." And she looked at me kind of weird. I said, "Well," I explained to her I was a medium, and I explained to her that her mother had just made herself known to me, and she wanted to give her a message. I relayed that message to her and stuff, and she was almost cried. And she says, "I thank you very much for telling me that." And uh, so it's hard to explain how that stuff happens. What uh, just unreal. Somebody walking by you, and all of a sudden, you need to tell them something. A complete stranger. For me, it's totally surprising.
It's
But
just being in a Home Depot and somebody gives you a message from your mom. Okay.
yeah,
Don't forget the sheetrock screws.
Yeah.
That'd be some crazy shit, man. But
I'm
I'll tell you what.
also sensitive, and I have a problem going into Walmart because that large store, there's so many different personalities and emotions going on in those stores that I pick up on them, and sometimes I leave that store and I'm ready to kill somebody. It's just
Ooh,
it's
yeah.
you just pick up on all that stuff. And Lori now tells me, "Well, you wait out in the car, and I'll go in and get the stuff I need." Hey, she knows she's a sensitive also, but she's not as sensitive as I am to picking up on that stuff.
Yeah.
But,
I couldn't imagine like an energy vampire in Walmart. Just all that crap going on in there.
oh yeah,
Shut you down.
I think a lot of times too. Sometimes you go in and it's kind of like a happy atmosphere type thing, and then sometimes you go in, heavy negative atmosphere. And I think it depends on the majority of the people whether they're got good vibes going or bad vibes going. I can pick up on it though, really bad.
And I bet it's more negative around Christmas time for some reason. I feel like it would be.
Yeah.
Especially in Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart. Yeah, it's really bad. But anyway, is there any more questions or anything you want? Or
oh no, I was just. Oh no, well, I was going to wrap it up about hour and a half, so I think we're doing good now. It's a good stopping point. This has been really fun, and we got your email out there for everybody. Help some folks out.
Oh, well, like I said, I got 9 books written. I sell them on Amazon.
Yeah, give us your stuff there.
Publisher. And just go to Amazon.com / I think it's / author / Alan Wright. I think that's it. If not, just turn the slashes around.
Yeah, it's that. If you, in the thumbnail of this video, the thumbnail of this video has your website on it too, the Alan Wright Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I couldn't find the actual link to it because it was being being difficult. But I did put, like, if you look at this video and look at it, it has your whole website on it.
Oh, okay, great.
It's up there.
Good deal.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your day and your Sunday for this. It really surprised me how much fun it was. I'm so pessimistic.
I really enjoyed the show. Thank you for inviting me. And thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in.
Yeah, and thanks for the blessing. I'll let you know how that turns out.
Okay, yeah. Let me know. I'll give you some more blessings.
All righty. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Okay. Thanks, Roger, and everybody, Kasan. Have fun in Sri Lanka. Peace.